Hi guys, it's Autumn here. I'm here with a video, a screencast on how to make a photo collage in Photoshop Elements. This is going to be part one, so we're going to make a very simple photo collage today just using these two photos. We're going to learn how to use clipping masks to make photo collages. Most people who are new to Elements would make a collage by choosing this crop tool and then cropping their photo to whatever size they think they're going to want for their collage, and then dropping that photo onto a new file and then moving them around to make a collage. But using clipping masks is a much more flexible approach because it allows you to change the size of the photo on the collage. It allows you to change to zoom in closer, zoom further away, or change what portions of the photo you see on your collage as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use clipping masks. We're going to start with a new file to put our collage onto, and I'm just going to do a 4x6 file here to make things simple. Make sure your color mode is set to RGB color and your background contents are set to white. That opens up a new file for us. For this introductory photo collage, I just want the pictures in two rectangles side by side. So we start by actually drawing those rectangles. Down here on the left, we pick the rectangle tool. Then we go up to the top and we can tell it what size we want them to be. I think I'll make these 2.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall. Just click down once on your new file and it draws a rectangle for you at that size. Click down twice to get a second one. Then grab the move tool and move these until they're positioned how you would like them on your background. So these rectangles are placeholders for our pictures. Over here in our layers palette, you'll see we now have our background layer, which is white. Then we have our first rectangle, and then we have our second rectangle, and they're kind of layered one on top of each other. That's how layers work in Elements. Okay, it's time to go back to one of our photos to start bringing photos in. These are pictures of my little girl. She was singing Wheels, her brother was singing the Wheels on the Bus song to her. So she's doing the babies on the bus, say wah, wah, wah. So I'm just gonna click down and hold on this photo and drag it and drop it right on top of my 4x6 file. You can see the photo here now at the top of the layers palette. And it's huge, so our first step is going to be to shrink that down. So I make my whole file smaller, and then when I click on the photo, you can see the lines all around the edges which show how big the photo is. Just grab one of the corners and bring it in to make it small. Then you can click anywhere on it to move it around. Then you click the little green check mark. Now it's smaller. As I'm going along here, I'd recommend that you watch maybe up through here and then pause it and go ahead and open up Photoshop Elements and a couple of pictures of your own and repeat these steps on your own to make sure you can see what I'm doing and you understand what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to place this photo right on top of our right hand rectangle, and I want to make sure that in the layers palette it's right above that right hand rectangle too. If I hover my cursor right in between these two layers, right on this line dividing them, and push down the Alt or Option key and click once, let me make this bigger and I'll do that again. Okay, you can see the photos just sitting here right on top of the rectangle. If I hover in between these two layers, hold the Alt or Option key and click once, now my photo is constrained into the bounds of this rectangle. So the whole picture's still there. I can grab it, I can move it around, I can make it bigger, move it around again so it fills up that whole rectangle. That whole picture is still there, but the only part I'm seeing is what is directly above this rectangle. And that's called a clipping mask. You can kind of think of it as that this is a window and only the part of the photo that you can see through the window is visible. Just remember, your photo needs to be above the shape we're going to clip it into in your layers palette over here on the right hand side. Okay, so this is really slick because, like I mentioned before, we can decide how big we want the picture to be. If we want to zoom in and get closer, we can just make our photo bigger, or we could make it smaller. We can decide if we want her whole face visible, or if we want kind of a fun crop where maybe her eyes are just up here in the corner. We can move it around however we'd like. If we had cropped this photo to begin with and then dropped it on our new file, we wouldn't be able to make all of these changes to it. Let's go ahead and grab our other picture. Again, just click down once and drag it over. Okay, it's great big and huge again. We want to, over here in the layers palette, place it directly above this left-hand rectangle, and then hover in between those two layers, push the Alt or Option key and click, and now this big picture is clipped into this rectangle. Okay, and you can see how that changes. Again, the entire photo is still there. It's so big we have to make our new file pretty small so we can see the bounding bars of the whole photo are still there. So we can make it smaller, move it around, get it positioned just how we like it. Do all kinds of things, change it however we'd like. We'll just make it big again. Okay, now we have two photos here in a very simple photo collage using rectangles as clipping masks. Another fun thing you can do is if you decide, you know, I really like this bigger photo better, I'd like it to have take up even more space, and I'd like this photo to be narrower, is you can change the size of your clipping masks. So click on the shape itself, and then I can grab this box to make it smaller. Hit the green check mark to commit that change. Then I can click on my photo and center it. Okay, I'm going to click on the second shape, the one on the right hand, and I can grab the little box and make it bigger. Then I can grab my photo and center it again. So you can see how clipping masks gives you a ton of flexibility when you're wanting to build a photo collage. You can move things around, try out different placements, try out different sizes for your photos, and really have a lot of fun, a lot of flexibility. And this is much simpler in the end than cropping all your photos beforehand to the size you think you want them, and then getting them moving around and seeing they might not fit. So this is clipping masks. Again, I'd recommend backing this up, opening up Photoshop Elements, and seeing if you can do this on your own. So go through it a couple of times if you need to. Just the key thing to remember is that your photo layer should be directly above the shape you want to clip it into, or the shape you want the photo to become. Okay, I'll be back in a few days to show you how to make a little bit more complicated photo collage. Thanks for watching!